Hi there. It started too early. I said hi there. Might have cut off the beginning of the hi, but anyway, this channel is one that I haven't done much on as far as producing content for a while, and I'm trying to get a little more light, maybe. That didn't really help. Seems like the camera makes it so dim, but anyway, I'm gonna reiterate or redo sort of the ones that are just my general biography, I guess, and why I do the alopecia videos, and I guess my alopecia story. I don't know, all the videos I had of it, I took down just because I was in one of those moods. But anyway, I am 41 years old now, and back many, many years ago when I was 16, I was a junior in high school, doing pretty well in a pretty high academic standards high school. It was like college prep and all that, and I was supposedly college bound as far as my family's intentions and mine too. I want to get a degree in equine science actually, but now that I know more about neuroplasticity and neuropsychology, gastro and neurogastroenterology, to where the microbiome of the gut actually can affect serotonin levels, and they found that some sort of manipulation or using certain probiotic organisms can actually dissuade your body from getting MS and things like that. They just made so many strides in that area, and I know that I got into that interest when I read a book by Dr. David Perlmutter called Brain Maker, and it just enthralled me, and I started taking probiotics, and it made a difference. And fish oil, the not DMAE, that's a smart drug, but the DHA, heavy fish oil, not just the one that's got the EPA and the DHA. But anyway, that's just brain health stuff, and that's not what I started this video to talk about. But onto the main topic. So I was pretty happy, and actually I had just sort of had an epiphany as far as self-esteem, because I was always had an inferiority complex and was sort of ostracized by kids and never fit in with the cool kids for sure, and always kind of got with the odd people, the weirdos, the not so much misfits, but just sort of rejects from the cool kids. And I fit in with them very well and had a lot of fun, so I didn't want to be one of those stuffy cool kids and following all the trends like a daggum sheep. Like I didn't like New Kids on the Block. I was like, I don't like them just because everybody else does. Doesn't mean I don't like their music. And lots of stuff I didn't go with fads on. I was just my own person, but I'm proud of that. And if it affected my popularity and made it less in school, I don't care. It's not worth giving up myself, my actual identity, and my individuality. So, in December of '94, it was actually New Year's Eve, and I was on a medicine called theophylline, which is sort of it's not really used anymore, but it was a prophylactic or preventative for asthma attacks. I had severe asthma, exercise-induced, and school didn't care. They made me exercise anyway around pine trees, so I'd get hay fever and asthma, and sometimes ocular migraines, but that's just public school for you. And so I was on this theophylline, and then about 3 days before we were going to go back to school from winter break to have midterms done, and I was supposed to get good grades to get into a good college and all this deal, and that was the whole shebang. So I start getting a chest cold or a sinus infection or something or other. I was getting sick, and I might have potentially missed school. So my mom grabbed some Cipro that she's got around, and I take a Cipro, and just in case it's bacterial, I guess. But what happened after that was freaky. It was very scary, and because within hours it started right behind my ears, and then I just started this body heat came over me. My whole body got warm, and then warmer, and then unbearably warm, and I had heard slight things about that there's such thing as spontaneous human combustion, and I began to worry if that was going to happen to me if I kept getting warmer and warmer. I went out in the backyard. We had a pool. It was December 31st, and I was seriously considering jumping in that pool to cool myself down because I felt like I was going to just catch fire. And It was extremely disconcerting and terrifying, really, in a way. It's almost as scary as when I had an ocular migraine on the side of, just riding my bike down the sidewalk, and I was about 12, 13, and all of a sudden everything white got really, really, really bright, and everything not white got darker and darker and darker, and then it was black and bright white, and the bright white went away, and I was totally blind with making sure my eyes were open, and like, I can't see, and debating on whether to, holler help, because I wasn't sure if somebody malevolent would come and help me, supposedly, or hurt me. But I think that only lasted about 20 seconds. It seemed like 2 minutes, but vision came back. They did a CAT scan on my head, and no problems, no tumors or anything. So, but anyway, the comparison, the heat reaction, the drug reaction between the theophylline and the Cipro was dramatic and severe and scary. So I wound up just not jumping in the pool, just going on to sleep and thinking maybe I'll be better when I wake up, because I couldn't handle it anymore. I didn't want to be aware of it. If it was going on, I would rather be unconscious, slumbering away while my body did whatever it was doing, or the drugs did whatever they were doing to my body. When I woke up on January 1st, 1995, I was okay again. No heat, no redness. Because I had turned, like, my skin got red, and then even if somebody held their hand right over me, it felt like the heat radiating. I was as if I had a bad sunburn, because that heat will radiate. You get near somebody's skin that has a bad sunburn, it's just that inflammation. So I thought, okay, well, that's over with. Within a week or two, I started seeing a lot of hair on my pillow, and then hair just started coming out. My mom took me to a dermatologist, and they said immediately, it's alopecia. And I was like, aloe what? Like the aloe plant? Like, is it good for a cut? And that first dermatologist was kind of unscrupulous, I believe, because he was assuring me that he would be able to get my hair to grow back, even though I'm pretty sure he knew it was AU, the Alopecia universalis, which that sudden of an onset and that severe, the most severe form of alopecia that robs all your hair everywhere, is the most unlikely to go into remission or respond to treatment or anything, or just, we're in the boat that's least likely to get our hair back. So I had to put on wigs around the beginning of February, because I couldn't hide it with hats anymore. And then, actually, the little bit of time I was wearing hats, I got flack from the kids at school, because that school policy was you're not allowed to wear hats, but they made an exception for me. And also I had a broken arm, so I was allowed to wear t-shirts too, and it was a school where you had to do a dress code, and it was more uppity. And so, like, yeah, I'm supposed to wear, I'm like, I got my arm in a long arm cast. I can't really fit any other shirts over me. I have to have the arm not even in the sleeves. They didn't really mind that. They could see why that was, but the hats there. You're not allowed to wear hats. You're not allowed to wear hats. And I was not willing to tell them why I was wearing the hat, or take it off and be like, don't you see why? Can you leave me alone, please? Because I was just so mortified. And even that, I guess the last year and a half of school, the last half of my junior year and the entirety of my senior year, I wasn't ready to be open about it. Even, we had a senior room for the seniors, and on study periods or before school, during lunch, whatever, we could go in there. There was couches. We could draw on the walls. They just repainted them every summer for the new senior class. It was really cool. And one day I'm sitting there on the couch, and somebody sitting on the couch across from me says, is that your real hair? And at the time I was wearing a wig that was human hair, and I owned it. So I told them yes, technically. I know they meant growing out of your head, but I was just dodging it and maneuvering it. Well, getting technical, it is real hair and it is mine. So, but I think they'd have been less uncomfortable with me, and sort of they wound up ostracizing me. But I don't blame them for that, because I went into a weird place as far as sort of depressed and self-conscious, and just really in a surreal type of situation, or just felt surreal because, oh my gosh, I am 16 years old and I am bald-headed. It was quite an adjustment, but I did make the adjustment. And shortly after I left school, or I didn't even graduate, I missed so much school from back injury, a broken arm twice, the same bone broke twice, and what else did I have? I can't remember. I think something else happened that year. The hair fell out. I hurt my back in February, and then that April I broke my arm when a horse flipped over backwards on me. It was a Mustang gelding, and he was very barn sour, and I was trying to impose my will on him, or just encourage him very strongly to walk away from the barn. Let's go ride somewhere. You can't just sit here and eat all the time. And he wasn't having it. We were having a tussle or a little discussion, a disagreement. He's all dodging around and acting like he might want to buck, but then all of a sudden, no warning, no little getting light in the front end or bouncing off with his front feet, bouncing up in the air or giving any warning he was going to rear. And then he just like went up and over backwards. Boom, there went my left humerus. And that was, April of 95, towards the tail end of my junior year. That made me miss a lot of school, at least a week, I think, because it was a very bad break. And so I go ahead and I wound up getting the cast off, and then in June or July, like literally, like 2 hours after I signed my name for my full license, not the learner's permit, the actual adult license, I guess, full-fledged right to drive a car or a vehicle, I got T-boned, which it was my fault. I didn't realize it was a flashing red light. I thought red goes away, green comes, and then we go. It was a four-way stop with a flashing red, and I got T-boned. Broke the arm again, same spot, because it hit the armrest. And it had only had the cast off for maybe a month at the most. Rebroke, it got healed straight the second time. So I think I went to my junior prom with a wig on, but I didn't want to go into the senior prom. Because just from the depression and the difficulty coping, I missed a lot of school and wound up just having to get a GED and not really doing much college. I did a couple semesters at community college in town, and that was it. That's pretty much my alopecia story. I lost it when I was 16, and it was not definitely due to that drug reaction. It was not 100% guaranteed that's what caused it, because they really can't pinpoint the cause in nearly all cases. But it was a big culprit because I had that severe reaction, the heat, burning up inside. And then within 2 weeks, my hair was falling out like majorly fast. And combining theophylline with Cipro it does a reaction. They interact in a way that raises the theophylline levels in your bloodstream very high. And the way the dermatologist explained what happens when that happens was that the spike in theophylline in the bloodstream can send the immune system into a sort of shock state. It just stuns it sort of and throws it for a loop. And as far as he said, when mine went into shock, it was like a computer shutting down. And when the computer rebooted, my immune system rebooted from the theophylline shock, it had accidentally switched my hair follicles from friendly, do not attack, not a threat, to very dangerous, attack. So it attacks my hair follicles and the hair doesn't grow. So I don't even have eyelashes, if you can see, except I have a little on the bottom there. I don't know why. They randomly come and go. But eyebrows, that keeps sweat out of your eyes. You don't realize until the first time you're mucking out a stall. Ow, my eyes are stinging. Oh my gosh, I'm sweating. And they're going, where are my eyes? You notice the eyelash is missing when there's a windy day and any dust in the air or anything goes like into your eyes a lot easier than when you have the protection of the eyelashes. But I can't stand false eyelashes. It's like, no way, I'm too tactile sensitive or touch sensitive. It's like these things are on my eyelids and it's driving me nuts. So I'm going to get back active on this channel and just air some things out, I guess. Maybe just talk about things that interest me or concepts or whatever. I'll figure something out to do that's decent, I hope. But it's just a reintroduction to me since I took everything down, and that's who I am, and that's my hair loss story of getting alopecia universalis at age 16. But in the end, it was a tough road. It was a big adjustment. It was threw me for a loop big time. It would anybody, I imagine. But especially, I've had a lot of people tell me that's a tough age to go through something like that. And if you were like 5 or 25, it'd be easier because you're not in that crucial transition, trying to figure out how to become an adult, trying to figure out who you are, trying to contend with school and classmates in school and college prep stuff and college applications and GPA. I got through it. I didn't really ditch the wigs until maybe 2.5 to 3 years after my hair fell out, which I just, you just gotta wait till you're ready. If you lose your hair and you wear wigs and that's how you're comfortable, then don't rush it. If you get to where you feel like the wigs aren't you anymore, and you feel like going wigless and proudly bald, or just tat or scarf, whatever, is more you, and more the way you want to represent yourself to the world and your image, then it's like it's all so individual and personal, and you just have to listen to your heart and your mind and figure out what's best for you, because losing your hair is tough for anybody. Especially when you know there's no chance of it coming back. You can't go to IHRS or Bosley or any of those hair restoration places, because anything they do, the immune system's just going to attack again. And there's been tenuous talks of treatments that are effective, but most of them are immunosuppressive for sort of rheumatoid arthritis and things along those lines. And it was where they gave somebody that medicine for that autoimmune disease, and their hair started coming back. So it's like, oh boy, this makes that happen too. But any sort of immunosuppressant suppresses your immune system, which makes you more susceptible to bad stuff. And they always mention to get tested for TB whenever they talk about those immunosuppressive drugs. And I'm like, I don't want to have to worry about TB. I'd rather be bald. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's a lot faster getting out of the door in the morning. It's a lot less trying to figure out what hairstyle you want. I don't have to go to the hairdresser. I can, if I ever get that nostalgic feeling and I'm walking past the shampoo aisle and the hairspray, and I'm thinking, oh, I wish I had hair to use that stuff on, and pick a shampoo that smells nice. And if I ever, which is really doesn't happen, but anyone who loses their hair and they think, oh, I missed this aisle, just go over the next aisle to the razor aisle and the shaving needs and check out those prices. And remember the nicks and cuts you used to get on your legs, and remember the razor burn and the stubble and the aggravation when you went to the beach and forgot to shave, and then you're like, oh shit. Not a problem anymore if you have AU. If you have AA or AT, alopecia areata, the most mild form, or alopecia totalis, where you just lose the hair above the neck, pretty much, then it's not as convenient. You don't get that little perk. But anyway, that's it. I've rambled on enough, and thank y'all. I hope it was enlightening, or at least you got to know me before I start loading this channel again. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate your time, and keep on keeping strong. God bless, and take care.